Every workplace is a game, a quiet one. You think it's about productivity, about teamwork, about shared goals, but beneath the surface, something else moves. Egos, fears, ambitions wearing polite smiles. We all step into these places believing effort is enough, that good work speaks for itself. But Machiavelli, centuries ago, warned us otherwise. He wrote for princes, but he was really writing for survivors, for those who walk through corridors of power where one wrong word can end a career. This video is about surviving those corridors, about seeing what's really happening and learning to move through it with strength, clarity, and calm. You will learn how to recognize the toxic, how to defend yourself without losing your integrity, and how to rise above the silent wars that others don't even know they're fighting. Let's begin. Imagine your workplace as a court. The lighting is fluorescent instead of candlelight, the suits modern instead of silk, but the structure is the same. There are kings and queens, ambitious courtiers, silent observers, and jesters who speak too much. Machiavelli lived among such people, the powerful, the proud, the dangerous. He saw what drove them, not purpose but survival, not virtue but advantage. He warned, power never sleeps, it only changes form. In a toxic workplace, that truth becomes visible. You see alliances forming over coffee. You hear praise that sounds just slightly too polished. You sense tension when someone else gets credit. Every smile conceals a possibility. Every silence hides a calculation. You are not paranoid, you are perceptive. And perception, Machiavelli would say, is the first defense. If you found this video, it's not by accident. The stars have aligned. Yes, that's not just a phrase. Something in you is ready to hear what comes next. Maybe you've been through months of tension. Maybe you feel unseen, unappreciated, or slowly drained by people who smile while they pull you down. If that sounds familiar, understand this. You were meant to arrive here, because Machiavelli's lessons are not about manipulation, they're about awareness. He believed that when you understand human nature deeply, you stop being its victim. You learn to step back. You begin to see the game instead of just playing it. You stop reacting to every unfairness, and you start moving with intent. The universe works that way. It sends knowledge when you're ready to handle it. And if you're still watching now, it's because something in you already knows. You can't go on being consumed by other people's chaos. This is your turning point. Machiavelli wrote, "A wise man must learn how not to be good when circumstances demand it." He didn't mean cruelty, he meant flexibility. In a toxic environment, purity becomes a weakness. If you show all your emotions, if you trust too easily, you give the wrong people the map to your soul. The mask is not hypocrisy, it's protection. It's the ability to hold your expression steady while you assess what's happening. Behind that calm, you're calculating, learning, understanding who moves the pieces on the board. The mirror, though, that's the other half. It's your own reflection. Because if you become too much like them, you lose yourself. The art is balance. To wear the mask without forgetting the face beneath it. To act strategically, but never soullessly. Machiavelli admired intelligence, not cruelty. He respected discipline, not deceit. And he believed, the strongest fortress is a mind that cannot be provoked. In The Prince, Machiavelli described rulers who survived impossible odds, not because they were born powerful, but because they learned to read people. The same applies to you. The princes of today aren't monarchs. They're managers, directors, influencers, people who hold keys to your daily peace. To navigate them, you must develop what he called virtù, the strength of character and skill that bends fate to your will. Observe your environment like a strategist. Who craves attention? Who fears replacement? Who seeks allies through gossip? Who disappears when accountability appears? These patterns reveal everything. And once you see them, you stop taking behavior personally. It's just people being people. Some ruled by fear, others by ego. Your calm detachment will confuse them. They expect reaction, not reflection, and when they realize they can't control your emotions, their influence begins to dissolve. Machiavelli knew that power is rarely held alone. Even the cleverest prince needs allies, but not loud ones, wise ones. In the workplace, that means finding those who see through the same illusions. They may not say much. They might just share a look across the room when something false is said. Those people matter. Allies are your invisible armor. They don't fight your battles, but they remind you that you're not insane for seeing what others ignore. Build quiet trust. Help them when no one's watching. Protect their dignity, and they will protect yours. A true alliance doesn't need constant affirmation. It's made of silent understanding. Machiavelli wrote that loyalty built on gratitude lasts longer than loyalty built on fear. So, build your alliances on respect. They'll carry you further than any title ever could. Two forces rule every life: virtù, your skill, discipline, and strength, and fortuna, the unpredictable current of fate. In the toxic workplace, both are constantly at play. Virtù is how you handle yourself, your posture, your words, your timing, your restraint. Fortuna is everything beyond your control. The whims of management, the chaos of office politics, the random storms that no one predicts. Machiavelli said, "Fortune favors the bold," but he meant something deeper. Fortuna rewards those prepared for her unpredictability. So you don't chase chaos, you prepare for it. You stay consistent in your craft. You make yourself indispensable, but never desperate. When others panic, you remain composed. When they gossip, you produce results. And slowly, invisibly, your steadiness becomes power. Because even chaos bows to competence. There's a special kind of strength in silence. Machiavelli observed that people reveal themselves most when they're uncomfortable with quiet. Watch the ones who can't stop talking. They give away more than they know. They think noise equals presence, but presence comes from stillness. In a toxic workplace, silence is not withdrawal, it's mastery. You listen more, you speak less, you let others underestimate you, and while they're busy performing, you're gathering information. When you finally speak, it carries weight. Because people remember the quiet ones. They project mystery onto them. And mystery, Machiavelli knew, is the most underestimated form of influence. You don't need to be seen to be powerful. You need to be effective. Not every battle deserves your sword. Not every throne is worth serving. Machiavelli advised princes to know when the terrain was lost, to retreat strategically, not emotionally. Sometimes survival means leaving the toxic system entirely, but not in anger, not in haste. If you choose to go, plan it as carefully as a campaign. Use the time to strengthen your skill, to expand your network, to prepare your next chapter. And when you finally walk away, do it quietly. Let them feel the weight of your absence. No grand announcement, no bitter farewell, just calm departure. Because the one who leaves in peace haunts the corrupt longer than the one who leaves in rage. Once you master yourself, something shifts. You stop needing approval. You stop chasing validation. You stop explaining your worth to those committed to misunderstanding it. Machiavelli believed true power came from self-possession, the ability to stand steady when others unravel. That's your silent empire. You no longer react to gossip. You no longer fear judgment. You use energy only where it matters, and people notice. They can't quite define it, but your calm unsettles them. Because peace, in a world addicted to noise, is intimidating. That's when you realize you've transcended the toxicity. You no longer survive it. You rise above it. Have you ever felt that moment yourself? When you stopped explaining, stopped defending, and simply stood in your own quiet strength? That instant when their chaos no longer reached you? When you finally saw how powerful silence can be? If you've lived through that shift, share it in the comments. Your story might help someone else still fighting through the noise find their own calm. Because every silent empire begins with one person who decides not to be shaken anymore. Machiavelli's Prince wasn't written for tyrants. It was written for realists, for those willing to see humanity as it is, not as they wish it to be. You can work with people. You can be kind, helpful, and fair. But you must also be observant, guarded, and strategic. That balance between heart and mind is the art of survival. To live by principle, but not perish by naivety. To walk among wolves without becoming one. To know that strength can be silent and dignity can be a weapon. If you've come this far, you already feel it. Something in you has changed. You're no longer reactive. You're aware. You've entered the mindset of the strategist. And once you see the game, you can never unsee it. You've journeyed through the mind of Machiavelli and found his wisdom waiting for you in modern form. The toxic workplace is just another version of the ancient court. But you are no longer a pawn in it. You understand how power moves, and you choose when to engage, when to observe, and when to walk away. That's mastery. If this message found you, it's because it was meant to, because the stars aligned and you were ready to hear what you needed most. That calmness is strength, and awareness is freedom. Now keep walking the path. Explore the other videos on Modern Philosopher, each one a step further into wisdom, peace, and self-command. And if you haven't already, subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss the next chapter in your own transformation. Because your story doesn't end here. It's only beginning. Stay strong, stay awake, and keep thinking deeply.